Shalom. First off, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the hopeful elect that are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. And to all my brothers out here preaching this truth to you, I say Shalom. This is Amatazar from the Chicago camp coming back at you again with another lesson entitled The Brit Card. How are you free when he is as death? All right, so in this lesson, I have quite a few thumbnails that we're going to look at. All right, we still got scriptures, but there's some thumbnails that need to be seen for the visual so you can realize what's really going on. All right, so just last week, it says the UK government, led by Prime Minister Keir Starmer, announced plans for a new mandatory digital ID system called the Brit Card on September 25th, 2025. The scheme will require all adult residents to have a digital ID and will be mandatory for all right to work checks. The government aims to implement the Brit Card by 2029. All right, so the key features of the Brit Card is mandatory for employment. The card will be compulsory for all adults who want to work in the UK. Prime Minister Starmer stated, "You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID." All right, so there you have it. So this is a form of gradualism on the path of Revelation 13:16. Okay, that's all this is. All right, digital identification. So, what is that digital identification going to lead to? So, the question is, how are you free when your elected officials make decisions that you completely disagree with? All right. These elected officials are making decisions that you completely disagree with. Why? Because there's an agenda. There's a comedian who passed away. His name was George Carlin. Says you have the illusion of choice. Okay. He talked about the owners, okay, of the country and the owners of this world and the club that we're not in. Okay. So his comedy, his satire really were it really wasn't funny. It was always a slap in the face because it was so true. Example of Esau gathering all people. When you go to Habakkuk 2 and 2, it says, "And the Lord answered me, the Lord Yahweh answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time." All right, talking about these prophecies. "But at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire is hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathered unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people." And how are they heaping unto him all people? Is the example of is this digital ID. Okay? The digital ID and the mark, the MOTB that's coming, the RFID microchip are examples of him heaping unto him all people. The digital ID, first they'll say you need it to work. Then what's next? You'll need it to travel. You'll need it to shop. You'll need it to access healthcare. You'll need it to drive. You'll need it to go online. You'll need it to vote. You'll need it to exist in society. And once digital ID is in place, it won't stop there. It becomes the gateway to the carbon credit system, where every purchase and every trip and every choice is tracked. You'll only be able to spend within your assigned allowance, freedom replaced by rations, choice replaced by compliance. This isn't progress, it's control. Okay? Now, John F. Kennedy had an idea of what was going on. Okay? He knew that there was some enslavement going to happen. So, 7 days before his assassination, this is a quote. It says, "There is a plot in this country to enslave every man, woman, and child. Before I leave this high and notable office, I intend to expose this plot." So there you have JFK identifying that there was going to be uh, some slavery, okay, pushed on the people. Aaron Russo, in his documentary, America, Freedom to Fascism, all right, he talks about the digital ID, okay, and he talks about the New World Order that's coming, okay, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe that came out in 2006. All right, so in the New World Order, there are no human rights or free speech or privacy. There's travel restrictions. There's digital IDs. There is no cash. There's social credit scores, the end of sovereignty, and open borders, food shortages of smart cities, and relocating humans to city centralizations, medical mandates, and destruction of national identity and pride, depopulation to 500 million, one world government, one world religion, one world digital currency, no private ownership, firearms prohibited, AI surveillance state, Noahide laws, and Christianity outlawed, and then also the MOTB. All right. So one of the things about Esau, okay, he's such a hypocrite, all right, that he'll use his big business, okay, to cut down all the goddamn trees and fuck up the environment and then blame you for it. All right. He'll blame you for it. Okay. And then make these carbon footprint laws. This is Job 9 and 24. It says, "The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?" All right. That wicked is Esau Edom. Okay. He's the one that basically lied using his iconoclasm, all right, to paint over the faces, all right, of the icons, all right, the ancient paintings, of Yahweh Shai, all right, and the men of the Lord, because they were dark colored people. All right, he painted over them and made them what? So called white. This is Romans 9 and 13. "As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated." Okay. Esau has been hated and still is. Second Ezra 6 and 9. "For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed." All right. So the Lord has a promise. He's going to get rid of these idiots. Okay. He's going to get rid of these Edomites. Revelation 11 and 18. "And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldst give reward unto thy servants the prophets, and to the saints, and to them that fear thy name." Salakia, "small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth." So the Lord gonna destroy those that destroy the earth. Okay, Esau, Edom. Now, let me show you what he does with this carbon footprint. It says a carbon footprint is the total amount of greenhouse gases emitted directly or indirectly by an individual, organization, product, or event, measured in carbon dioxide equivalents. It quantifies the impact on climate change from activities like energy consumption, transportation, food and waste, Okay, so it quantifies the impact on climate change from the people's activity, but not the big business. All right, just cutting down all the natural resources and clogging up the rivers and lakes. All right, producing carbon footprint involves making conscious, excuse me, reducing your carbon footprint involves making conscious choices such as choosing public transportation, eating less meat, using energy efficient appliances, and reducing waste. Okay, now that's him trying to blame, okay, that's him trying to blame you, all right, and tell you that you have a big carbon footprint. But here's the reality: capitalism harms the environment through its inherent drive for continuous growth, which leads to the overexploitation of natural resources, pollution from industrial production and extraction, and the prioritization of profit over environmental sustainability. This dynamic contributes to issues like climate change, from fossil fuel reliance, deforestation, loss of biodiversity, and the creation of toxic waste, with cost of this damage often externalized onto communities and the global environment. That's exactly what we just read. The key negative impacts: overexploitation of resources. The pursuit of profit under capitalism encourages companies to extract natural resources at a rate faster than the planet can replenish them, leading to deforestation, soil degradation, and the depletion of finite resources. Pollution and waste. Factories and industrial agriculture and fossil fuel extraction sites generate toxic pollutants and waste, damaging ecosystems and harming human health, especially in communities near these facilities. All right. Revelation 13:16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Revelation 6. Okay, Esau, all right, was given the power, all right, to take peace from the earth, and he was given a great sword. Revelation 6:3. And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, Come and see. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. Who gave him the great sword? Okay, Yahushua, if you can receive it. All right, when he was in his incarnation as Isaac. This is Genesis 27:38. And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. Okay, so this is after um, Esau had sold his birthright. All right, so when Jacob came with deception and got the blessing, all right, Esau was crying. He said, You ain't got number one blessing? He said, Bless me, father. Verse 39. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. All right. So this devil been living by the sword ever since. All right. And these ICE raids are just a formal occupation, and it's a foot in the door for martial law, as if this was like a foreign country. All right. They're just putting the pieces in place. All right. This is 2 Corinthians 2:11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. All right, now lastly, what I want to talk about really quick, okay? Micah 2:2, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. All right. So just so you know, Uganda discovered gold. Okay, and this was back in 2022. Okay, so they discovered um, 31 million metric tons of gold ore valued at $12 trillion. Okay, now Esau is going to plan to take this gold from him. All right, I'm going to show you. So this is June 22nd when they found it. All right, I'm not going to read all this, but in March of 23, all right, Kamala Harris visited some countries over in Africa. Okay, but she didn't visit Uganda. All right, but it was very public statements being made about Uganda and how they're not into the so-called Moism. Okay, so they have strict laws about Moism in their country. Guess what? The American country, America, is looking at the LGBTQ plus as a human rights violation. You see the hypocrisy? Okay, because America and human rights, uh, that's a whole nother lesson. Okay, human rights violation. Malcolm X was trying to get America on the human rights violations. Okay, and he was gunned down. Um, so that's what they're gonna use. That's what Esau Edom. And I'm kind of scrolling because I want you to see it because there's sanctions that was imposed on Uganda. All right, and then you had you know Uganda being removed uh, from certain trade programs and travel restrictions, and then you had the World Bank suspended all new public finance into Uganda. All right, see they want to hurt them. All right, and find a reason to go on their soil and take the gold. All right, but now they trying to get back in good graces with them, so to speak. All right, and start doing some type of business. Okay, and they just want to get close enough. All right, just so they can spot or point to these so-called human rights violations, which is that LGBT agenda. All right, that's all it is. See, we already know exactly how Esau operate. I'm gonna close with this: consequences of the law. An Anti-Homosexuality Act 2023 imposes severe penalties, including death penalty for aggravated homosexuality and lengthy prison sentences for consensual same-sex acts and promotion of homosexuality. Since its passage, rights organizations have reported an increase in violence, discrimination, and abuse against LGBTQ plus individuals in Uganda. The law has also been identified as a public health crisis, and it drives vulnerable populations away from essential HIV/AIDS prevention and treatment services. All right, so here we have it. We can see through Satan's devices. All right, they're gonna try to use Uganda's position, all right, on homosexuality and the LGBTQ bullshit, all right, basically as the human rights violation to get on their land and take their gold. It's gonna happen, or they're gonna try to at least. All right, it just depends on how much time we're gonna have left here. But we already know. We already know Esau plan. All right. So with that, I'm going ahead and end this lesson. I pray that this lesson has been edifying. To the next one, Shalom.